If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Headline Lies, the big weekend spin. Welcome, I am Alexis Knight, your no-nonsense guide to what is really happening underneath all those headlines. Here's the deal. If you felt confused, misled, or like something just isn't adding up in the news cycle, you're not crazy. You're seeing through it. This podcast, it's not about doom scrolling or panic, okay? It's about clarity. And so are these, the series Headline Lies, because when the narrative does not match the facts, that's where the truth begins, and that's where, problems begin. Now, in today's episode, we're going to dive into 6 stories from the weekend. Some you might have missed entirely, maybe you heard them all. And in all of it, you might have noticed some twisted beyond recognition. We're talking about fraud, censorship, media manipulation. Let's break it down, and let's start with the latest on RFK Jr. All right, headline number 1 says, RFK Jr. slips again in national polls. That's the headline. What they told you, he's losing steam. National polls show him trailing badly, and according to usual talking heads, it's a sign that the American public is coming to their senses. But here's what they're not telling you. RFK Jr. is actually performing far better in critical swing states than the national polls reflect. And why is that? Well, it's because most of these polls are funded by the very institutions that want to keep their power exactly where it is. This makes sense, right? When you dig into the crosstabs, how the sample is structured, it's clear the decks are being stacked. It's unfair to the public. Also, RFK isn't just running on talking points, okay? He is backing lawsuits. Lawsuits, real ones, guys, that are challenging the core infrastructure of voting, including ballot access and the role of big tech in censoring political speech. And every time he gains traction, media outlets work very hard. They work overtime to discredit him, often by calling attention to fringe supporters rather than the core message. The real reason these people are scared, he's pulling from both Republican and Democrat voters. That's not a third-party spoiler. That's a threat to a two-party monopoly. Okay, let's look at the next headline that's going on out there. Elon Musk's X is in trouble again. That's what the headline said. Mainstream framing. Elon's platform, X, formerly Twitter, it's once again a toxic wasteland of hate speech, and advertisers are running for the hills. They claim it's falling apart because of mismanagement and moral collapse. But here is the truth. X is one of the last major platforms where unfiltered, non-algorithmic, did I say that right? Non-algorithmic conversation is still happening. And that includes discussion about election fraud, vaccine injuries, media collusion, and government overreach. You'll notice that most of the articles slamming X, they're quoting activists, but not data. They're not concerned about actual danger, okay? They are concerned about losing narrative control. That is a lot of power. And Musk knows this. His platform has become a holding place, if you will, for the conversations that the mainstream wants to bury. So again, love it or hate it, go dig around in there. What is it going to hurt? This is why the pressure is increasing, okay, from the government, legacy media, corporations that once relied on controlling us, the people, the public, through all those ad dollars and soft censorship. They're not able to do that on X, and that is a problem for them. I mean, is X messy? For sure, okay? But messy does not mean broken. It means free. Free is messy. It's not organized. And that's exactly why it is under attack. All right, and this next one, I mean, the headlines just love this guy. Quite a disruptor after being appointed here. Dr. Oz quietly re-enters the media space. That's the headline. Now, on the surface, this looks harmless, right? No big deal. The media frames it like a washed up TV doctor trying to reclaim the spotlight after his failed Senate run. No big deal, right? But let's dig a little deeper here. All right, Dr. Oz is not chasing fame. He's re-entering the public space with an entirely new agenda. And I think by framing him in the past, we don't realize exactly what it is he's doing. What is he doing in the position he is in? Why is he there? I mean, behind the scenes, Dr. Oz has been connecting with whistleblowers, data analysis, and medical insiders to build a media arm that actually challenges Big Pharma's grip on medicine. I mean, this is a very big deal. He's not launching some new daytime show, and I feel like the headline makes you think, oh, okay, well, Dr. Oz is back, but all you know is what you saw him do before. And so it makes it kind of insignificant, but this is definitely something we're going to be hearing more about. All right, he is building an entire platform that could expose the cracks in the pharmaceutical empire. Nothing small happening here. During his campaign, Oz was pretty much dragged through the mud, which we see happen to politicians all the time. This was not because he was unqualified or because a lot of the politicians aren't qualified. In this case, it was because he began to had real questions about health policy, FDA corruption, and pandemic profiteering. And we didn't hear about that, though, right? Behind the scenes, he was questioning the sacred cows of modern science, modern medicine, vaccines, prescription drug pipelines, hospital kickbacks. And that made him dangerous to those programs that were very profitable to certain people. And so he just was labeled dangerous. But now he's not disappearing. He's actually pivoting the role here very quietly and strategically quietly. His production team includes former insiders who have also left the system, not really also, but who have left the system he is now in, right? The thing he's a part of. And they're not just talking, they're documenting. So real things are happening here, whereas these people might have stayed quiet forever. You know, expect long-form interviews, leaked documents, they'll be coming, and content that walks a very fine line between expose and public record. The media's silence on what he's really doing should tell you everything, guys, really. I mean, if Oz succeeds, he could become one of the most disruptive voices in modern health media. Not because he's extreme, but because he was once one of them. And now he knows exactly where to look. And that is something. Wish I could be a fly on his shoulder to see what he's doing. All right, let's move on to the next headline, which reads, New COVID variants raise concerns. Wow, it's happening again. Another cycle of fear is brewing around the so-called new variants, with headlines urging caution and whispering the return of mandates. Can you imagine? Mask stocks are quietly climbing. Take a look. CDC guidance, it's shifting ever so slightly. Go check it out. The headline tells you to be worried and be compliant and not to question it, right? You hear COVID and any kind of return, and I don't know about you, but it sends a nice little special feeling right into my chest. I don't want to think about it. Can't go through that again. But let's talk about what's really going on here, okay? Independent labs and frontline doctors have already been pushing back hard against this recycled fear narrative. That is what it is. It is a narrative. Remember, if they get an emotion, it takes. We can't let this one take. What we're seeing isn't the rise of a deadly variant. Oh no, this is the return of a well-worn playbook. reintroduce fear, nudge some behavior, and prep the public for more control. And I mean, that's just what it is, okay? Fear helps you think otherwise. Reports are showing that case data is being manipulated through PCR test cycle thresholds again. And in many hospitals, COVID admissions are being lumped in with general respiratory illness, inflating numbers for the headlines while quietly walking back the actual threat level. The pharmaceutical industry is also not sitting idle, by the way. New booster campaigns are already in development. You are going to see those. They've seen what fear can do to stock prices. Think about it, guys. With Doge, people are losing money all over the place. Let's reintroduce COVID. That'd be a quick injection of cash. Once the media sets the tone with you, the machinery will kick in. Policy, product, and pressure. That's all I can say here. If you fall for it, I am warning you here. Send this to your friends because it's coming our way. It's going to happen all summer. It's going to prep you for the school year. I would get ready. But here's the deeper lie. They want you to believe the science is settled, right? All that back then, we know all about it. That concern equals conspiracy, when in fact, science, real science, it's always evolving, questioning and checking itself. Don't forget that, because that's exactly what they want you to do by painting anyone who has concerns about this, who asks questions, as a threat. They're the threat. And just like that, we're back in 2020, guys. Let's go. Who wants to do that? Except we'd have less compliance and more resistance. The public's tolerance has changed, and the question would be, will the headlines? I doubt it. The headlines can give you a lot of fear, and I really wouldn't skip this one. You can ignore it, but I am promising you, if they can do this, they will. Campaigns are already in the works. You want to go through that with your children, trying to get them vaccinated for COVID before school again? Colleges? Just when our kids are back? You at work, your job could be threatened. They're going to want you to feel that fear. It's all planned ahead. It's being planned right now. Moving on. Headline number 5, which read, Crypto Crackdown Continues. The headlines are simple. Government agencies are finally cracking down on crypto. The message, it's for your safety, to protect investors, to prevent fraud. But let's flip that over, okay? The real reason crypto is under fire is not because of fraud. It's because of freedom. I really need you to think about this one, guys. Decentralized currencies like Bitcoin and Dogecoin operate outside of central bank control. And that scares institutions that have historically profited from monetary monopoly. These are all old systems, guys. What year is it again? Let's get these things into today. And what you're seeing now is regulatory theater. All right? They want to stop this kind of change. The illusion of protecting the public while slowly suffocating the platforms that give people financial autonomy. This is truth. Behind closed doors, major banks are investing in blockchain tech while publicly criticizing it. Why? They want to beat you to it. They want in, but only if they can control it. So the crackdown is not about stopping corruption. Okay, it's about getting everything in their control where they like it. This is not conspiracy. This is seriously just about rerouting power in this. The SEC's latest moves are not random. They are targeted. Certain tokens get crushed while others quietly rise under the guidance of corporate interest. And let's not ignore the timing here, right? Every single time economic uncertainty rises, whether it's inflation, war, or job instability, crypto tends to surge. And each time, headlines warn of danger, while the market tells another story. This isn't about saving investors. It's about keeping the gate blocked. The irony, the more they crack down, it seems like the more people are actually waking up to the fact that traditional finance, it's not working for them. And the system knows that people are waking up. Hopefully you're one of them. Hey, don't listen to me. I'm here to bring you the facts. You need to believe it yourself. Look into the truth and stop looking at the headlines. Get yourself ahead financially. Looks like we've been taken quite advantage of, right? They've taken our money out of taxes. We don't even know where it went. This might be something we want to look into. All right, headline number 6, and it reads, Public trust in media drops again. Now, this one, especially when I'm saying it, might seem obvious, but it is important. Public trust in media has hit record lows, and mainstream outlets are panicking. But here's what I want you to realize. Rather than self-correct, I don't know why they're doing this, but they are doubling down. I mean, misinformation, it's become their favorite word. Suddenly, everyone's offering a dissenting opinion. They're a conspiracy theorist, right? If that happens. Here's the trick. They've shifted the burden of proof, all right? The average citizen now has to prove they are not misinformed if they question an official narrative. That is not journalism, okay? Journalism is something that brings you the truth because you can't find it. That's why they get paid to do so. That is what it is on a very simple level. But making you prove, hey, if what I said is not true, you go prove it. That literally is gaslighting. And while they warn about dangerous influencers, what they're actually really afraid of is decentralization of truth. I mean, podcasts, independent news outlets, even long-form YouTube analysis. These are the new front lines of information. And if you're not on board, you need to get on board because it's sort of like following that ridiculous magazine, right? That's full of just inflated stories. Watching the news is becoming like that. If you want to be part of the intelligent group, stop watching the news. It's convenient, it entertains you, it even gives you the weather. But if you really want to know, especially what's going on politically, just watch the cabinet meetings from the White House. That cannot be lies. They are right in the meeting and they're bringing it to us. Why would I want a news outlet to tell me their version of the meeting later? You know, it's just sort of, it's becoming the obvious. And so this is really happening. But now, so because it's happening, they are flooding everything with all kinds of noise, which is why we're doing this podcast, right? To sort of filter through some of it. All the quick headlines, the emotional buzzwords, the manufactured outrage that gets to us so quickly. I mean, the goal really is to exhaust you. Are you exhausted? Are you too tired to question? Too overwhelmed to care? Because that's the goal. But it's kind of not working like it used to. People are waking up because the cracks are just becoming too visible. I bring them to you here. Other people are bringing them to you every day. And once that trust is broken at this level, it can be nearly impossible to restore, and that's their fear. So the question becomes, what fills the vacuum? And that is why podcasts like this exist. It's not to tell you what to think. It's really to remind you that you can think, that you should ask, and that it's okay to challenge what you're being told. And that is your Monday Breakdown. 6 headlines, 6 truths, and 1 clear takeaway. The spin is real, but so is your ability to see through it. I'm Alexis Knight, and this is Headline Lies. If you are tired of being lied to, but not ready to give up on the truth, then stick with me. I'll be back Friday with the next round of Spin to Call Out. Until then, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your standards high.